on this computer. All right. Hey guys, Happy New Year, everybody. Thanks for hopping on. Okay, so a couple of weeks ago, Trina Gray did a national wake-up call on having a big idea, and it really, really spoke to me because it just sounded like such a good system, you know, like a way to kind of plan your business based on this big idea. And that's what I wanted to talk about tonight. Did anybody get a chance to listen to that wake-up call, either then or again? Okay, good. I'm going to kind of review what she discussed, and then I'm going to share my big idea. And what I would really, really love is if everybody can kind of just go around and share where their head is with their big idea. And it's okay if you don't have it all like spelled out and written out. Like I actually just jotted down some notes before we started the call. And it doesn't have to be, you know, that detailed yet, but it's definitely something I think it's worth considering because the way she made it sound, well, I'll just go into what she talked about real briefly for those of you who didn't listen to the call. So she talked about having a big idea. Basically, there's a problem that you want to have a solution, that you want to create a solution for. And most likely this big idea is something that was a problem for you that you've now created a solution for, or you're in the process of creating a solution for. And then once you have that idea, that helps you to determine who your market is, who your niche is, who you're trying to attract. And then anything you do with your business kind of revolves around that. So if you have sneak peeks, you direct them towards this population. If you have challenge groups, you're directing them towards this population. Your posts should all be as if you're talking to these people. So for example, her big idea was she was always in fitness before she found Beachbody. She was a personal trainer, and she was hustling. She was working from gym to gym and private cases in homes and running all around and hardly making any money for her time and her effort. So when she discovered Beachbody and she came up with her big idea, it was to find more women in fitness who were looking to earn their worth, wanted to keep doing what they were doing, helping people in health and fitness, but earning their worth. So that's her audience. That's who she's trying to attract. That's who she speaks to when she's posting. That's what she bases everything she does around, her sneak peeks, her challenge groups, and everything like that. And when I was listening to the call, it just made so much sense, you know, like if you know, and you know, we've always talked about, if you've been around for a while, you know, we've talked about your avatar and finding your target audience and all of that. And it all kind of is the same thing. But I liked the idea of calling it a big idea, of having basically a concept that you're, you know, that's the focal point of your business and everything that you do. It made things a little more clear for me anyway. So she mentioned 4 questions on the wake-up call that can help you to determine your big idea. She also gave a bunch of examples. So if you didn't listen to it, I definitely recommend going back and listening to it. But because there's a bunch, there was like one girl on her team is a college student, and her big idea was to reach out to college girls who are, you know, no longer getting home cooked meals, who are no longer involved in sports, who like can't, you know, have to find their way. They don't want to, you know, they're on, naturally when people go away to college, they go down this unhealthy path. So this was this girl's big idea, and that sounds awesome because that's so true. And there were a bunch of other examples. But anyway, so her 4 questions to consider is just the first one is, what do you think your big idea is? What does your gut tell you about your big idea? And for me, the way I thought about it was, what was a problem I had in my life before Beachbody that I was able to improve because of Beachbody? The second question was, what topics speak to this big idea? So basically, what little things come out of this big idea that kind of compound to create the big idea? How can you include some of these thoughts into your challenge groups? That was the third question. And the fourth question was, what are 3 to 5 reasons why these people should join your team, your mission, your camaraderie. Why you? Why should they be with you versus any other person who has the same big idea? So for me, who else joined us? Hey, Bridget. Hey, Agnes. And I don't know who the last person is. Okay. So for me, I struggled with this. I'm not going to lie. I had two roads I wanted to go down. One was for me, the former lazy, non-athletic girl who was overweight her whole life, who has now become a marathoner and like fitness coach and marathoner. Like, to me, that's a big deal. That's like something I never ever would have thought. Like, being not active my entire life and overweight was a huge problem in my life, and God only knows where that would have led me. And now I run marathons and I'm a fitness coach. So that was one way I wanted to go, but then I think the other way pulled me a little bit more. So mine was, I'm just going to read my notes. The problem, in my mind, the problem is moms with little knowledge about nutrition and constant self-limiting beliefs and excuses about time and money that prevent them from turning their households around. So for me, it was, I don't want my kids to be picky eaters. I don't want my kids to eat mostly processed foods with chemicals and artificial ingredients and preservatives. I want moms to learn that small changes over time lead to big health improvements, that leading by example and being in control as a parent makes a big difference in the home. So this was another thing that kind of pulled me towards this, because my background is occupational therapist. I worked with kids and dealt with a lot of families. And I have learned between that career and being a mom now and seeing other parents, that a side piece to this, completely unrelated to health and fitness, is that parents have little control over their kids these days. And parents are letting their kids control them. So I kind of thought maybe because of my background as an OT, I could incorporate that, because I think that if parents can just have a little more control just in general in their household, they can get a better handle on this nutrition piece and not just give their kids whatever they want because they have no control over them. So that's just kind of like a background notation that I have there, which I'll incorporate later when I talk about how I would get it into my challenge groups. But I want moms to understand that getting their kids involved in exercise can be fun, and even having them watch you or just knowing that it's mommy's workout time is improving their overall understanding of what being healthy means. I kind of take this for granted. Like, I guess because when I started, Madison was just turning 1. And it just was like, it just was a thing. I was working out and that was it. Like, the kids knew it was my workout time. And there were times where I did it when they were sleeping. Like when I first started, I did it really late at night. And there are definitely phases where I did it early in the morning, but there are a lot of times where I did it when they were up, and they just knew, like, okay, I'm going to work out. You cannot bother me now. If you need anything, of course, if there's an emergency, let me know. And it just was the way it was. And my kids don't question it, because they knew from very early on that that was just the way it was. And I think a lot of people are afraid to start something like that with their kids because they think they'll be interrupted and it's not worth it. I'm not going to get anything done. I'm not going to be able to have a good workout. I hear it a lot. So I know, like, I'm not just making it up. People definitely say that. But it's like anything, you got to start a routine and get into the routine, and then it'll become a thing and it'll be a lot easier. Anyway, topics that I can post about are parenting tips, the compound effect about how doing things over time, compile into a big result, being in control, being a role model, getting the kids involved. And I feel like these are things that I do because my kids are very involved. Madison and I did double time in November, and my kids run races with us, and my husband just ran his first marathon. So I do try to gear my posts around this big idea about, turning your household around and getting your family more involved and being active and being healthy. How can I include this in my challenge groups? I can share parenting tips, kid-friendly recipes, healthy substitutions, and then nutritional and ingredient info, and of course share my story about as she drinks my Shakeology. About just where we've come from as a family. And I do think pieces of that in my challenge groups, but definitely not all of it. And then the reason why I think that people should join me in this mission and in this big idea is because I've been there. Because I grew up on processed foods and sugar, and I've come a long way, and I struggle. Like, it's still a struggle. And even right now, Mike and I were just talking about this because we've been like out of control with our food lately. There's been cookies galore in this house, and every night him and I are eating cookies, and guess who else is eating cookies? So I see the direct correlation of when we make healthy choices and we're in control, our kids have no other choice but to make healthy choices and be in control. And when we don't, it's the other way around. So that is my big idea. That is where I'm going with it. I just jotted down some of these notes really quickly before the call started, but I really want to spend some more time personally on my own thinking about where I can take this in terms of being more organized and systematic about it with my business. Does anybody else have a big idea already figured out of their own that they would like to share? Or should we take a few minutes and give everybody some time to think about it? You can just unmute yourself and talk. Christina, did you have your hand up? I'll unmute you.
I don't even know.
There you go. You're unmuted.
Thanks. I didn't know how to do it. So I'm 21, and I'm just gonna tell you guys because obviously, I'm comfortable. But I have Crohn's disease. It's with the stomach. So a lot of my whole life, I've always been skinny per se, but I've been active too. So kind of the illness and being active both played a role. Of me being skinny per se. So when I stopped high school, I wanted to stay being fit because so many, college kids, I'm 21. So so many kids my age, once they go to college, like you said, the unhealthy habits kick in, this and that. And I want to help them. Or the moms, I know a lot of people who just had babies too. So they have the baby weight. So I want to help them too per se. And they reach out to me and I answer them and, we get there, this and that. But then it's when the following up happens, they're oh, I don't have the money, this and that. And then it's their excuses fall through and it's and then they're oh, you look so good. I want to, look like you and this and that. And it's okay, but if you let me help you, you can. So I'm kind of I know where I want to go. It's just a little stuck, I would say, but I don't exactly know where. I don't even know if that makes any sense.
Okay, yeah. So thank you for sharing. I think it would be worth trying to find a specific audience. So you're 21, you're not married yet, you don't have kids yet. Right. I would probably not speak to the mom audience, in general. Not right. That you can't, I don't mean speak to, don't have a conversation. I mean, don't direct your posts and all of that towards the mom audience because that's not you. You can't really relate to that. If somebody approaches you, of course, have the conversation and you can help a mom. Right. Same thing happens to me. I don't usually try to attract men in this business. But of course, today, one of my old male customers reached out to me and I don't know, it's not the right connection, but of course I'm going to help him. Of course he'll be in my challenge group and, right. Whatever, but it's just not where I gear my posts to or anything. So I would consider where you are, where are you in your life? It could even be the Crohn's audience or the, people with the, what is Crohn's technically? What type of a disease is it? It's not an
autoimmune.
Oh, it is an autoimmune disorder?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe autoimmune disorders, maybe college students, people who are your age who are who have similar goals. Like you had told me, Christina, separately prior to this, that you wanted to go into nutrition and learn more about nutrition and maybe take that as a side career. So maybe that's an audience you want to speak to. I would try to target the audience that is most like yourself. And this way you're not all over the place. And then, like I said, of course, if other people come to you, you will attract other people.
Right.
You know other people in your life, so they'll obviously be inspired by you as well. But try to find an audience that you're specifically speaking to, and most likely that audience is going to be most like you.
Right. But then, like, when I do my post or whatever, like, do I put, like, who are those college kids? Like, you know, something like that says for them, per se? Like, I don't even...
Well, I mean, I think it's more indirect. So what you're posting about is going to interest college kids. It's going to appeal to, you know, if you're talking to people with autoimmune disorders, you want it to catch the eye of those people. You're not necessarily going to say, attention, people with Crohn's disease,
right.
Attention, college students, like, read this post, here's what it is. You're going to, whatever your content is going to appeal to that audience. That's what your job is, to try and figure out what you can provide material-wise in your post that will appeal to that audience.
Can I jump in, Corinne?
Interested in saying? Yes, please.
And I think that's one of the reasons why it helps if you're targeting people who are like you, because then simply by sharing your own story and your own experience, then you're attracting people like you and people who have that similar experience without just kind of like talking about it in a roundabout way. It's personal, but it's going to connect to those people because they see that it's your story. It's real in your life. And just, if it is the Crohn's, despite the fact that you're waking up and having to deal with this issue and, with your stomach and everything, you're still getting your workout in. You probably have had some people, reach out to you for that reason. So the more personal it is, the more you're going to attract people based on that target anyway.
Right. That makes sense. Because how are they supposed to know if I'm not putting it out there either?
Right, absolutely. Well, that brings up the other point of just being as transparent and authentic as you possibly can be, because that's the whole point of using our social media for our business, is to build relationships and attract people and let people get to know us. Because why are people going to want to do business with us or come to us and ask for our guidance and support if they know nothing about us? It's like, just like reading reviews about a company before you use the company, or even about a product. You want to make sure that it's a reliable source or a reliable company before you do business with them. So definitely that's another piece. Does anybody else want to share a big idea, thought? Or do you want to take a couple of minutes? I would really love for everybody to just kind of brainstorm and think about, or even if not like a big idea, what about just your biggest accomplishment or change since you started Beachbody? Like, personally, what has changed for you? Is it that you've become more social? Is it that you are, so much more comfortable in your skin, so you've developed a new relationship, or anything? Like, what has changed for, who else is here? Agnes, Lana.
Yes.
Would you like to say?
Yes. So I do have my big idea, and I'd made some notes when I first listened to the call and just revisited it today. So my big idea is overwhelmed working moms. the problem that I still have, that I think a lot of moms have, is just trying to balance everything. And you go to work full time, you have a long commute, you have to take your kids to daycare, you need to balance your home time and chores and spending quality time with family, and then taking time for yourself so that you can, take a bath, like unwind, read a book, have a glass of wine, and still trying to fit it all in without feeling like you're neglecting someone or neglecting something important, and prioritizing, because that's totally where I am right now. And so all the little things that compound. I mean, you have a long commute, you get home, you pick up your kids, you come home, and then you have to feed everybody. Everybody has to have dinner, and then, you want to spend time with everybody, but then you have to still do the dishes, and everybody has to go to bed at a reasonable hour, and then, what's left for mom? And then you pack lunches and you go to bed and you get up and do it all over again. It's just all the little day-to-day things that need to be done and how to prioritize. And your house is, full of piles of paper and laundry and, overflowing recycling that you haven't taken out in 2 weeks. And, when do you have time to do it all? So I'm actually doing a challenge group this month. So I'm doing a 1 week free group followed by a 2 week paid group. That's a get your shit together group. And so it's mindset and decluttering after the holidays, cleaning out toys from your kids, donating because they got a bunch of toys for Christmas. Mindset where I'm giving people an option of reading 2 different books. We're talking about nutrition. We're talking about fitness. We're talking about meal planning. So I'm doing a group right now that kind of is the everybody is so scattered and so fried from the holidays. We all just need a reset. And I'm working on why me. I mean, yes, I'm here. I'm in it. I guess it's just more like a personal self, belief in myself is I'm in it. I am going through it at the same time. And so I can definitely lend my own experiences in that one. And I think that's the reason, but I could flesh that out a little bit more too.
Yeah, well, I think plus 2, which again is something you have to get through yourself, but understanding, giving yourself a little more credit. You are juggling a lot, just like anybody else, but you're managing to make it work. You're working full time, you're running, you're growing a business, you're making time for your health and fitness, you're still making time for family. That's a lot more than a lot of people can do. So you have to remember that. Think about before, you and Christy connected in that group, and you were on the other end thinking how the hell does she do it? How the heck does she make time for her workouts every day? You know how many people are watching you and saying the same exact thing? So I think that's always important too, is to remember the old you, because especially for us, we've been around now a little bit and we've become so used to these habits of, okay, we work out 6-7 days a week and we, drink our shake every single day. But think about when you first started, was it that easy? Or even before you first started, it was such a foreign concept. I'm going to work out in my house 6 days a week. Who's going to hold the gun to my head because it's not happening, and that's kind of I think a self-check we have to do every once in a while to give ourselves a little more credit.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Kel, Bridget, Andrea, Agnes?
I didn't listen to the call, but as I'm sitting here trying to think, I don't really have a clue. And maybe that's my problem.
Well, I appreciate that. So for you have a history in personal training and fitness, and you went to school for all that and didn't want to put your babies in daycare in order to pursue that career, but you did want to pursue the career right?
Mhm.
Like, that's how you got all into this. So I wonder if that is a good starting point for you to figure out what your big idea is.
Yeah,
Like, maybe-
that's all where I got. I didn't get anything past the big idea that would be different from anybody else.
well, it doesn't have to be different. It's just yours. I mean,
Yeah.
that's not my story. I wasn't in fitness before I started. So maybe that's who you want to attract, people in the fitness industry who, just like if you listen to the call, probably similar to Trina Gray, because she was in the fitness industry and she was doing, I don't know if you were on when I was saying this, but she was doing the whole hustle back and forth from gym to gym and
Yeah.
training people individually and hardly making any money and running ragged. And she wanted to be able to be home with her kids and still pursue that career and use the knowledge that she had about personal training and nutrition and all of that. So
I agree with that. That's I don't know how to parlay that into a big idea, but that's what I got so far. So
yeah, think about it. I would spend some time on it. And
sorry, guys.
all right, Cal.
I kind of have two things that I'm bouncing back and forth about, because the one that I wanted to really dig into, it's not really so much of an idea of who I am, and one of them is, and I'll kind of explain both of them. One of them was really just based around, wanting to be more face to face with people. And so it just kind of grew into this idea of just trying to build up fitness and, whether it be, like starting, I thought of it starting with double time, right? Like just starting with people, just getting together face to face, two people, but I wanted to do something more in the community. So it just kind of grew into this, like my local community, doing more fit to fit, doing more like fit clubs. Like a lot of people will build their business based on fit clubs as opposed to doing it all on social media. That kind of makes it difficult to throw out these broad things on social media. Kind of limits you because now you're not reaching as many people. So I guess that's the smaller of the two ideas, just because you can't really reach as many people. But it is an idea that I have where I kind of want to get a little bit more focused in my own community and just like, Mastic, Moriches, Manorville, like these areas, and do something with community fitness. So that was just that. And then my next idea was just to gear things towards people who have a scale obsession, because I've been there, done that for a long, long time. And more specifically, people who are so intent on the number going down that they don't care how they get there. And the unhealthy way of doing things. And I feel like a lot of my posts are geared towards that, just because that's who I am and where I was, even into the Beachbody journey, being scale obsessed, 3, 4, 5 programs into Beachbody. And then finally, like getting to a place where that wasn't an issue. So I think that's the next idea that would reach more people, because there are a lot more people who have a scale obsession than live in my direct community who are interested in fitness. So that's where I'm at so far.
I think I like that one better just because it speaks to you more. Like the other one, it's a great idea in general to reach out through your community and get more community involvement. And I think that you can do that as one of your tangents, so to speak, off of your big idea. But I don't know, when I think big idea, I think about what relates to you. And I mean, you weren't really like a community activist before Beachbody, right? Like looking to get involved in your community and stuff like that. I think it says a lot about who you are. And like I said, think it would be a great thing that you can implement with your clientele, with your business, people in your business as it grows. But I like the idea of the scale thing. I think that that's awesome. And I think you've got a big audience there.
Thank you.
Mari, it's so nice to see your face. It was just your name for a little while. Hi.
Hi.
Do you want to take a turn, or are you just listening today?
I guess I could have a very short turn.
Okay, go for it.
I mean, I definitely have been in the midst of trying to figure out just staying afloat. Also trying to figure out, some way to focus what I'm doing. And I just keep coming up with, working moms with not a lot of free time and people who just don't really believe that, that they can do something like this. Like when I was talking to somebody today and just telling her, like, listen, when I ordered my first program, I was like, yeah, this is not going to work. Like, I'm not going to be able to follow this. And, sure, I'll do the diet for a little bit, but I'm not even going to open the DVDs. And so she was kind of laughing along, going like, oh yeah, that's how I feel too. And, it was just kind of a good way of getting the conversation going. He was talking about the fact that it's not like I was a fitness nut who, was constantly exercising or anything. I was a couch potato for 20 years. So
Yeah,
I have to figure out how to sort of consolidate that into a more concrete idea or something that I can get across a little more easily. But
I think that that's a solid idea. I mean, busy moms who don't have the belief that they are capable,
right.
that they want it. I think that that's a big audience, and that's exactly where you came from. So I think that that's a good one.
And also, sorry, I keep jumping in, but like, I think about that whole like couch to 5K thing, right? Like, Corinne, with the runners, like people will, that's where they start slow. They're like, well, I do like to be on the couch. How am I going to go from here to running a 5K? So you went from like couch mom to fit mom. So I feel like that could work for you.
I like that
Yeah,
tagline.
I'm the couch to not running mom.
But couch mom to fit mom, I like that, Kelly.
There you go.
You should use it, Mari. Put it in your profile description.
Right.
Andrea. Oh, you're muted. Hold on. Let me unmute you. Okay. Go for it. Oh, can't hear you. Why can't I hear you?
Wait, hold on.
Oh.
Wait, hold on.
Oh, there you are.
Okay. I'm on my Surface Pro. I still haven't really mastered this thing. I was thinking about a bunch of stuff, and obviously I feel like the default would be like dealing with people that had medical issues and stuff, but it's like, yeah, I understand I had the stroke and I was paralyzed and all that stuff, but it's like, I don't know if I want to really go that route. Obviously, I lived it for a long time and it sucked, and I don't want to focus on that. And I know there's probably some people out there, but I don't know. But I was sitting here thinking as you guys were talking, and but along those lines, I was thinking about the kind of like the outcast people. Like you guys are all talking about moms. Maybe single people are out there that are alone and just out there by themselves that have nobody. Maybe their family don't live near them. They don't really have anybody to hang out with. They don't have anybody to work out with. They don't have a boyfriend, or maybe, whatever, or they're working all the time and they're just kind of like, that's kind of like I was just thinking about a lot of that of people who are the outcasts, the loners, that don't really have anybody.
I like that. I think both are great. I think either route that you go, you would need to be more transparent with your own personal story. Like, I don't even think everybody on this call knew about the fact that you have had a stroke in the past and that you were paralyzed and that you overcame that. And that's a huge piece of your story. I knew that, and I think it's absolutely amazing that you've come this far and that you're into fitness and that you make it a point to work out and take control of your health because you're able to and you've overcome so much. But I think that that's something that you would need to definitely share more about. But I also think that I kind of like the fact that you don't want to focus on that because it's so negative, but at the same
Right.
time, it's
Yeah.
up so far. So you're flipping a negative to a positive, and there are people in that situation, but you might have a smaller group of people in that situation who are looking to be, you know, healthy and fit. So the other approach, hi kitty cat.
You know, she's like she's trying to climb onto the I don't know.
The other big idea, you definitely you would probably have a much bigger audience that way and can speak to a lot more people that way too.
Right.
I like both.
And it's like, even though I feel like, how do I say this? Because I'm not very fitness oriented. I have my second degree in dietetics, so I'm more nutrition oriented. And I kind of like want to start focusing on fitness because it's my weak spot. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, I feel like, I don't know, like nutrition comes easy for me. Like a lot of people I've encountered in different groups and stuff will say, the meal prep is hard. I'm like, the meal prep's easy. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's the easy part. It's the workouts that are hard. The fitness is hard. But, you know, for me, it's like the opposite. It's always the fitness that's real hard.
Yeah. And what doesn't challenge us doesn't change us.
Right. So that's why I don't want to like focus on that either, even though, because it's just too easy. I feel like it's way easy. And it's, like I said, that's and I've been using my like page more and actually boosted, a thing. I kind of I only wanted to boost it a little bit, like just, you know, start out small. And I accidentally boosted, I don't know how many people it's reaching now. I think I have 40 something likes by strange people.
Oh, cool.
It was like a nothing quirky kind of, I used like a Snapchat filter. It was like a nothing, I kind of spoke about 80-day obsession a little bit and this and that. And it got boosted, and I'm just waiting for somebody now to comment, because I said, you know, if you're interested, you know, comment and I'll fill you in. So, I mean, I'm getting a lot of random people liking it and liking my like page, which is good.
Yeah.
It was like a total accident, too. I didn't even mean to, like, kind of
But you should try to friend request the people who liked it and just reach out and start a conversation. Say, thanks for the support on that post. Would you be interested in hearing more information about this program? And just short and sweet like that. And leave it to them to say yes, and then you send them a quick video clip of 80-day obsession. But that's awesome.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say that's another big thing, because after I was reading everybody was posting in the page about Facebook changing stuff and whatever, and I was reading all those comments and reading stuff, so I started saying, you know what, just in case, I figured the safe bet would be to start using the my live page more, and you know, and just stick with that route, because at least you could boost them. At least you could send that out to people, where your personal page, you can't boost. You can't really, you know what I'm saying, do much with that. But at least your like page, you can boost and you can do stuff like that. So I was kind of like thinking about that too.
Yeah. There's that whole like page training, the Jesse Regan training, and he actually talks about not boosting, and boosting is not good, and you should really have more of a target audience for when you are going to pay to advertise. But I used to boost all the time before I knew any of that, and even still I don't know how to do the ads properly, so I don't boost just because he told me not to. But I think it's great that you got lucky. Like, I used to, every once in a while, before I knew anything about like page and ads and all that, I used to boost, you know, posts once in a while, and every once in a while I'd get a really good response out of like a clean week group or like a clean eating group or something like that. But I say if it works, go with it.
I think, you know why? Because it's not salesy. It was just quirky. And that's what the whole thing is that's another thing too. I'm trying real hard not to be salesy at all. And I know, like, I'm kind of like, I'm not real, like, I don't know how to say this, but like real Beachbody savvy, as like some people's posts look real professional, real whatever. I'm more like, you know, quirky. I always feel like the outcast, the quirky, whatever. So that's what I'm going to go with, because probably a lot of people can relate to that. Like, hey, I don't like she was saying, what was Alana saying, like, about how people don't have their shit together and stuff. And it's like, I'm fighting with my cat right now. And that's what I'm just kind of doing. It's like just being me, just being like, I'm just a weird, quirky, whatever. And my posts are not like, oh, I'm in the right light. I'm whatever. I'm like, yeah, I got bunny ears and the little thumbs are up. It's a Snapchat filter. It's like, you know, stuff like that, where people be like, oh, Snapchat, I love that. Oh, that's so cute, or whatever. Oh yeah, you know. Something that's not so like down your throat and in your face.
Yeah, absolutely. You definitely be you. Whatever you feel speaks to you will speak to your audience for sure. That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Vanessa, got anything to share for us?
Hold on, I'll mute myself. Can you hear me? I'm trying not to be so loud so I don't wake my daughter up. I'm kind of like at such a loss right now. I'm getting absolutely no traction on any of my Facebook posts at all. I do better on my Instagram posts, but I get a couple of dabbles here and there. I really don't know. I'm like beating my head. And it's kind of hard. And plus time is a factor too. I've been running out of time at work. We're down, and it was interim reports, and now I'm down to the last 3 weeks of the quarter. So I'm trying to finish up units and getting finals exams done. I have presentations. I don't have one full week this entire week, and the marketing period ends in 3 weeks. So it's like I'm trying to fit so much in such a small time frame. And then when I come home and we put them to bed, it's like 9 o'clock, and I'm like spent at that point. And so I try to do it when I can at work, but it's hard because the service there sucks. So I feel like when I can do it, it's like early morning, because I'll get up at like 4 and I'll work out. So I'll post my morning workout, and if I have like a tea, sometimes I'll throw in like a tea wisdom there. But like today I did the transformation using the 80-day obsession stuff, showing like the progressive photos and things like that. And I didn't even get a chance to look. I'll take a look now, but I don't think from Facebook. Like last time I did it, I got like nothing. No traction
Your
whatsoever.
Facebook page public yet, or are you still private?
Those posts, certain posts I make are public. So like that one was public. And still like, let me see if I could pull it up now. Like it really depends on, let's see. I posted that this morning, 13 hours ago. One like.
I haven't seen your page recently. Are you consistently posting, like in general, posting to your page? How many times a day do you post?
Yeah, I usually do at least 3 times a day. I usually do. So it's always a workout morning post. I'm constantly on stories, because the stories is easy because I could post to Instagram stories and it automatically goes to Facebook stories. So that's constantly up there.
Are you engaging on other people's pages? Do you ever go people's pages and just like and comment, or do you just scroll through your newsfeed and like and comment?
I usually go to the most recent when I do go on to Facebook. So this way I can see like the most recent posts. Because if I sit there, and they'll just take me way too long to go ahead and do that. I try to, but I'll usually go with the most recent posts, and it's usually like 400 posts that are most recent.
So I know time.
So I don't know. Facebook is just not.
Yeah, because the algorithms are all constantly changing. But I think it is more beneficial to actually go to people's pages. So on days when you might have a little bit more time, like I would have a list that you're working from of people you want to connect with, or people who you see based on your big idea, or based on your, your avatar, your target audience. Like make a list of those people that you could see in your groups and working with, and then every day for a solid week or 2, go to those people's pages and engage in their posts. And then I think that'll help the algorithm and help your posts to pop up in their feed, and for them to see what's going on in your life and potentially reach out with interest. Or if nothing else, then you can send an invite and not be weird because you've been engaging with them through their posts all this time.
Can I jump in, make 2 suggestions? One thing based on that, like Corinne was saying, if you have a list of people that you would like to be seeing your posts, then instead of doing the most recent, you can create a list. You probably already know this. You can create a list just of those people. And if you click on that,
I'm sorry, my son just walked in from basketball.
Okay. So you can create a list of those people, and if you just click on that. I'm just waiting.
I stole 2.
Sorry, I'm sorry. Just 1 second. I'm sorry.
I stole 2. So when they passed it, I stole.
Uh-huh.
I thought you wanted to steal. That's awesome. No, but they didn't pass it. You did? Awesome. I just said it's awesome. Proud of you, buddy. Go shower up, and I'll be up in a minute, okay?
Sorry.
That's okay. So if you create a list of just the people that you want to interact with, then when you click on that on the side on your lists, then you will only see those posts. So forget about everybody else on Facebook. You will only see, if it's 10 people, you will only see the most recent posts from those 10 people, and then it's easy to interact. And that's one way to just interact with the people that you want to be interacting with.
Mm-hmm.
Also, as a faster way of reaching more people when you don't have a lot of time. I'm not sure if you're in it. Melissa Hadley is running that ABCs group where it's just 1 letter a day. I'm just gonna anyone whose name starts with an A on my friends list, I'm just gonna interact with them. And then, the more, like Corinne said, the more you interact on their pages, the more they're gonna see your stuff. And that'll probably, boost it up a little bit.
So, but like 2 hours ago, I did a post about an avocado because I never eat the whole thing. So I asked, what do you do with the half of avocado before it goes brown? And I already have 14 comments on it. So it's like the weirdest things. I can put something like that up, and I'm getting a bunch of traction. Then I put something else, and there's no takers at all. Now, when you guys do the alphabet thing, like I'll go to like my friends, and it's not in alphabetical order. So like, how do you so like I spoke to Mari about this, and she said if I just put like the A in, all the A's should come up, but it doesn't come up for me like that. So is there like an easier way to get like an alphabetical listing?
I think Amy Brown posted a quick 1-minute video on how to do it.
Okay.
If I find it, I'll tag you in it. Alana,
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, so yes, Amy did. The other thing that I do is I just go on my phone, and so I'll just go to my profile on my phone Facebook account, and when you go to your friends from your profile, it automatically sorts them alphabetically, and so I just do all of my ABCs straight from my phone. One thing I was going to ask, I've found, and so I've played around with this a little bit, it really depends for me what time of day I post certain things. And so if I know in the morning that I want to do a post, something fitness related or something business related, and I really want to get a lot of traction, I'll do a post a couple of hours before that is like an engagement boosting post for me. So like for you, like the avocado post would be great to do right before you comment or right before you post something, that you want a lot of people to see that's business related. And so I'll even do things like, I don't know, so there's actually a good group called I Don't Know What to Post. I think that
I'm in that one. So like you like those random things to post on there.
Yeah, so sometimes I'll use things from that and get a bunch of people, and there's conversations going, and then maybe even an hour or two later, then I'll do a post that I want a lot of people to see. But for me, because if I post something fitness in the morning, same thing. I did a great post, and I've been getting really good engagement, but I did it at a different time and I got 1 like. So you might try, rearranging when you post your different topics, and then also looking at the times of day. Because I was posting it at 7 a.m. and at noon and at 7 p.m. and I wasn't getting anything. And I shifted it to 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. and 9 p.m. and now I'm getting a lot more interaction.
Now, is that on Facebook or is that on both? Because
on
social
Facebook.
media, but Instagram works for me that early in the morning.
Yeah.
It's by 5:30 I post, and I usually I'll get a lot of traction. It's not going to be 50 likes within the first hour, but I can get 25, 30 likes within the first 2 hours of that at 5:30 in the morning. But when I post it on Facebook that same time, I get nothing.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think people just aren't.
So I guess I'm just,
or my people aren't on Facebook that early.
Mhm. No, no one's up as early as you and I are, Alana.
No,
I
nobody
know
is.
Mari is.
Not
Are
me.
the only crazies at 4 in the morning?
My seventh dream at 4 a.m.
Yeah, and I think it's important to know that. Like the other day, I had like, or maybe it was last night, I came up with a post that I was excited about, but I just know if I post something in the evening, it sinks every time, every single time. Like I just don't get any engagement on my posts at night. So, play with the times a little. And like you're seeing with the avocado, like everybody loves a poll. Everybody loves a poll. Corinne asked one day, what shoes should I wear? And it went crazy. Everybody loves to be asked their opinion. So.
All right.
Although we got to be careful with that now, with that info Alana posted about Facebook now trying, like, they're speak, Corinne, speak. They are identifying those posts and like penalizing people, right? Because they see it as like you're trying to boost engagement, and who knows what kind of truth there is to that. But I would be careful. I wouldn't do it that like every day.
I read that article, and then I had Michael pull up something else from CNBC. They're looking for the people who are spamming, saying tag this or share this and you'll win a free vacation and stuff like that.
Right.
So on the article, it said that you can ask about vacation trips, like opinions, stuff like that, but don't say comment below, share this, stuff like that. But
Even on your like page, or is that just personal?
It didn't declare if it was your like or your fan page. It didn't say either which or. I can't even talk either. I'm in so much pain. It didn't declare which avenue it was for. Okay. But I thought for your like page, it was a free for all. You just can't.
I know, it's your business page. They should leave you that.
Yes.
All right. Thanks. Agnes, I don't know if you're still there. We can't see you anymore, but we haven't heard from you. Are you there? Let me unmute you. Oh, I can't unmute you. You're not there. Oh.
Hey, do you see me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I had to leave because my kid's waking up. All right, so I have nothing written down, but I get a lot of people private messaging me or texting me. Like, I don't get traction on my posts, but I do get a lot of feedback through private messages. And I'm trying to like reach out to pretty much working moms who need to get out of this funk of I can't. I feel like they get up to the point where they're excited and they want to start something because they see me doing this. And yet when it comes to them finally doing it for themselves, they just have this belief that they can do it. And it's so frustrating. But then I keep in mind like where I started and where I was before I started and how I didn't believe in myself. But when I was ready to do this, I went like full force with it. And I want to get people to that point. And I mean, I know a lot of us are having, similar issues with people who are just not ready to take that jump.
Yes. And I think that I have always said this has been one of the things I've always preached about Beachbody is the most true or best advice that you will ever hear from anybody in Beachbody is that consistency over time is essential in this business. So those people come around eventually, but you have to be here when they're ready to, and you have to be consistent with keeping that relationship going for however long it takes them, because if you don't, it'll be another coach or it won't ever happen for them. They'll never be, they won't continue to be inspired by you. And the consistency over time piece is so important in so many ways, not only in that way, but also just in general with showing up and doing the business stuff. And then that consistency over time will pay off literally in terms of your income as well. So I think it's, I think that that's frustrating because people are instant gratification people, and we want to see, we know, plus we know, like, we're there, we're doing it, it happened for us, and we want them to get, like, do this because it's going to work and you're going to feel amazing, just freaking listen to me because I know I'm right. But they're not ready, and we can't, so it's frustrating. But if we keep that relationship going and they see that we're showing up and we're still doing it, whether it's 2 months from now or 2 years from now, eventually they do come around. And I'm sure you have plenty of cases already within the time you've been in this business of people who said no and then came back.
The people who are coming back to me now, and some of them have signed up and are starting. But even some people who have signed up, like, they get everything and then they get overwhelmed. And I'm like, take baby steps. I'm like, don't start with the containers if that overwhelms you. I'm like, I even like encourage someone who hasn't worked out in about 10 years to do like the prenatal videos. I'm like, start with something easy. Start with the template videos. And I agree. I feel like people just want instant gratification. They expect to press play and drink the shake and then overnight wake up and be like 5 pounds lighter.
Yeah. Yep. And it's the same, but I mean, it's the same thing for us as coaches. We want that instant gratification too, by having them, sign up and be all in right off the bat. But when realistically, did that happen that way for any one of us on this call? How many months and years of stalking did all of us do combined before we actually committed, or how many paychecks did we wait until we had the money to do it? Or how many, it's not the way it happens. And that's why it's just so important to be consistent and be here for when they are ready and when they do realize that they're just making excuses and they need to get out of their own head. Another thing that I think is huge that we don't do, I'm guilty as well, enough as Beachbody coaches, is working on the mindset shift, getting people to do personal development before they even commit to doing a program. Because if they can shift their mindset and be more positive, they're more likely to be ready and to stick to a program. Like, if you think about what personal development has done for all of us, and when we're on point with our mindset, that's when we're on point with our nutrition and our fitness. That's such a huge piece, but most people are not willing to see it that way. So we don't push personal development because people think it's crazy and they don't need personal development. But if people were more willing to do that, I think that is really where things should start, is the mindset, not actual program. Any program works. Beachbody is not revolutionary.
Right, of course.
Anything will work if people are ready, and then the support piece is huge too. So, but I think that's a great audience that you're targeting, because obviously it relates to who you are. And how are you doing, by the way, with work life?
It's great. I mean, it's part-time, so it's fitting in with my schedule and juggling around my kids really well. I'm really happy back at work.
Good.
Getting out of my house is nice, and not having my kids for a portion of the day is very pleasant.
Good.
But no, it's good. I mean, initially the first month was a little tough trying to fit it all in, but I feel like I've learned not to stalk my phone and constantly check my phone for messages from people and to see who liked my post. Yeah. And that's definitely relieving, a lot of the time that I've spent on my phone.
Right. Good. I'm glad. I'm happy for you.
Yeah, thanks.
Anybody else want to say anything about having a big idea or the direction in which they plan to focus their business for 2018? I really appreciate everybody chatting and sharing their information and their thoughts. Keep in mind that January 13th is our tentative holiday adult gathering, just to get together, time and place to be determined. But I mentioned it like in November, I want to say. So hopefully you guys all marked your calendars and can make it if you're local. Sorry.
What date?
I always feel so guilty. January 13th is a Saturday.
What day was it again?
Saturday, January 13th.
Okay. Okay.
And hopefully everybody can make it and we can get together and chill. Also, I'm going to this week work on planning our next business opportunity event and the next team call. I think I'm going to try and do 2 per month and see how that goes. If there's ever any topics anybody wants to talk about, let me know. Bridget, it looks like you're trying to say something, but you're muted. Were you talking to us? Come back.
Oh, there it is. I was going to say that this helps. When we did a team call last month and this month, I think it definitely helps our group feeling.
Good.
Right?
I like it too. I like to see you guys.
I like to see your faces.
I know.
Cool.
Since there's a bunch of people here, does anyone listen to any podcasts for personal development? Because I know it's important all that, but I'm not really a book person. Like I find podcasts so much better. If anyone could recommend anything.
Shailene
Or-
Johnson.
Wait, what is it? Hold on, I need to write it down. Who is it?
Shailene Johnson.
Yeah, that's the one I had told you about, Christina. I think you already wrote that down. The Shailene Show.
Yeah, I think I did listen to one of hers before. I'll have to look more into
See
it.
that, Andrea?
What?
We can't see it. Can you type it or read it or say it? Hold on. Oh,
Times I listen to Lewis Howes, the School of Greatness.
oh yes. I forgot he had a podcast.
Yeah, there's so many episodes, so many.
That's a good one because that's a great book.
Who is it? Sorry, Lewis.
Howes.
And it's Lewis, Lewis, right?
Yes.
And the name of
Okay.
the podcast is School of Greatness.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, honestly, I feel like that this year for me is like I just want to take it and run with it. And like you guys were saying, like it's frustrating because everyone's like, oh yeah, I'll do it. And then it comes down to it. And then like in the middle, they flake out or, stuff like that. But I feel like this year is going to be a lot better. Like I'm a lot more focused too. So.
That's awesome. And I think, again, the key is for us not to flake out when it doesn't come easily,
Yeah.
You have to think of it just like from the challenger's end. Like it's a challenge and we need to be challenged in order for there to be change and to grow and to be successful. Like we can't flake. We can't say it's too hard. Everybody's saying no, there's too many rejections. It's too much work. If we want what we want, we have to put in the work and we have to be consistent and we have to just be here. So,
and that's the thing is, like, that's not happening because of your lack of focus or consistency. That's going to keep happening no matter how focused or consistent you get. You just have to keep up with the personal development and keep being consistent and push through that, because that just, unfortunately, it just doesn't go away.
Right.
Just being honest, like, those people are here to stay.
Yeah, and then like it's funny because when they're like, oh, I don't have the money right now, kind of expenses. I'm like, don't worry, I made her wait like 5 months until I said yes, and I tell them that because like I know,
Yeah, and that's exactly what you got to keep doing, is being relatable and telling your story and just keep chugging along, because like Kelly said, those people aren't going anywhere. There's always going to be people that say no and have excuses, and the thing is, you got to keep going and keep looking for the people who are ready, and keep in touch with those people who are not ready, because they will be ready one day and you want them to come to you. You want to be there for them when they are ready.
Right.
All right, thank you guys. Anybody have anything else to add or say or ask? I love you guys. I appreciate you. And I'm super excited about 2018. Have a great night.